Okay, hello guys. Here is day three of the workshop, uh, hierarchy in geometric code and agent behavior. And then I see some of you joining, but there might be some people joining late. But anyway, so okay, so YouTube Live is on and so workshop is on. So today I gonna start with the assignment review again. And then so in the same way with last time I gonna just call participant name out of my list, and if you are ready, please turn on your microphone on the share screen. Although let me check if my setting of sharing is allowing everybody to share screen. I think I did just now. So okay, first yesterday the person was meeting, but is Divya Gyag here today? Let me check the participants list to see who's here. I don't see that name. Okay, then yeah, let me move on to Warpon Nakapan. Are you ready to show?
Hello, good
Yeah,
morning,
sure. Good morning. You can
Satoru.
also tell me the pronunciation your
um,
name again.
okay, I'm gonna show the screen.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Oh, it's coming. Yeah, I
Um,
see that.
yes, actually, yesterday I just went back to the previous assignments that I wanted to figure out more things. So I'm not really advanced into what you asked about the collision detection. So at first I was just wanted to show you um, what I figure out in further steps from what I've done.
Okay.
So this is still the same gyroid, and I have figured out how to control the time frame and change the primitive agent from points to line according to the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And then, yeah, just go inside. And then from this, I'm still trying to figure out how to branch. I haven't figured out yet because it doesn't look branching correctly. So first, it will just show the points rotating of the gyroid, and then after 5 turns, it will become lines or curves, and then it should start branching. But as you can see, it's not branching correctly. Like it keeps turning, but the branching is
Mm-hmm.
is not correct. So that's all I have figured out.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
that's all right. And then okay, so that maybe
Mhm.
first, yeah, it's great you refined the assignment of yesterday, and then second of branching. I saw multiple line coming out, so there might be something happening. But one, um, can you show me the code of branching? Is that is
hmm
that the part?
So first, I declared my agent, and then I um,
Can you show
built
just
this
the update
class.
part?
Yes, and then interactive part here,
Sure, sure.
and then update
Yeah, and
position,
then position.
position
Okay.
stay.
One thing is actually when you run the code, you saw the multiple lines kind of coming out, the cyan, sky blue color lines coming out, but multiple one, and then somehow the line was moving. You saw the line lines are moving somehow together, keeping the root in the same position.
Yes.
And that is actually an unintentional thing, and that is some sort of bug caused by there's one tricky thing in Azure. The when you create a child agent, you need to copy your position to for child. When you create position 2, position 3, not you don't wait. Actually, no,
So here
the
I have
copy
copy and
actually
here
copy
copy.
needs to happen when you don't copy point 2, you copy position 1 when you create position 2, meaning
Oh,
can you go up? Not there,
oh,
but can you go up?
yeah,
There position
yeah.
2, the definition of position 2. So this one doesn't have copy, meaning you are
Ah,
rotating your position. I mean, you are giving the rotated position to the child, but you didn't copy, meaning when you change the position for child, you are also changing yourself.
oh.
So this position is remembered, and then this is the tricky part.
Also position 3.
Sometimes it's remembered in the curve, sometimes it forgets. But sometimes the line remembers your position is when it moves, line also moves together. So when you forget to copy, your original line moves together with child. That's what happened there.
But
That's one thing. Yeah, so that's the correct
any,
one. When you copy there, that's the correct one. The
oh,
second thing is that another copy you did afterwards. You so in the lines below, you copied that position too, right? But that when you copy that one, that generates new vector data, and then but that once you copy that data, that creates a new vector, and you multiply and rotate. But that multiplication as rotation is not influencing the position two. It's influencing the copied new position two, which nobody received. Do you understand? But anyway, what I want you to do is, can you delete the copy in the second one, not this one?
this one.
Yeah, that one. Can you delete?
But
Yeah, in
for,
that
at
way you
first
are changing. Yeah,
I,
in that
I
way you are
delete
changing
the
position two.
copy
Yeah.
because I just wanted to display the dots and not the copy of the dots. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. No, actually, the position two is not point. It's a vector number. So, but something. But anyway, can you run that again to see any difference comes out? Yeah. The first point and second line is coming.
No, it's dots, and after 5 turns, it become points. Oops.
You had something with. Okay, I don't know why that change creates only points. Wait, how did you start drawing line? Can you go back to code? Okay, I should not. Okay.
Oops,
Yeah.
not
Can
this
you
one.
show where you have?
Time less than 10. So 10
Okay.
times it will
Okay. Yeah.
display the
Position.
dots,
You have
my
position two.
points, and after that is
Yeah, that's
random
to
position.
10. So okay, can you go back to the code? It might have been just less than 10. Can you go back? No, you didn't need to stop. Can you run that again? Because it
Okay.
should work now. Oh, what is position? What is the percentage zero? But anyway, let's wait for 10 time frame. That wasn't 5. That's 10.
And I noticed that it's become very, very heavy, very
Yeah,
slow.
that happens. And then another thing is when you run Zoom, it's heavier. So yeah, so I wonder if it is already 10. Do you think that's the stop?
It's still running.
Possibly. Can you scroll down? What is that? What is the percentage of probability 0? Why is it 0?
Ah,
Was it always 0?
it's still running.
Yeah, it's still running. Can you keep it running? Can you keep it running, but can you go back to the code?
Okay.
Then can you scroll down a little bit because you have else after this else if. Else. That has curve and then something and then something. You have a curve only with position 2.
Else if and
Can you look at the part where you create curve with new I curve? You are having
this
the
one.
input of position 2. Yeah. You have
Mm-hmm.
the input of position 2, but to draw line, you need 2 point. I mean, 2 vector. You only have 1.
Oh, I see.
Can you put the position or POS? Yeah, you can go there. So yeah, just
And
okay,
also here.
also there. Then can you run it again? So if you put just 1 point or 1 vector, it creates just a 0 length line, which you don't see. Though if you save it, it exists. But so some line should come out now if Anastasia other issues. Okay, at least you have line there. Branching something else. But anyway, maybe
Okay, I will
stop here.
figure out.
Yeah, branching is something else because I don't think you had to. You didn't have one two child in one if condition. So, but anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
lines are coming.
So yeah, at least the line is coming. So okay, sounds good. I mean, good attempt. So I appreciate that.
Okay,
So
thank you.
okay, thank you very much. And then let me move on to next person's assignment. Um, next, Olivia Way, are you there? Let me check participants. Actually, not now. Okay, I don't see her now. So okay, let me move on to next. Which actually first let me see if the person I wanna call is on the participant list. Live on Zoom first, and if apparently not, I skip that. Not that. Not that. And next, Chengyu Cheng, can you show
Yes,
your
sir. Yes,
work?
I'm here.
Yep, go ahead.
Mine is a little bit easy, not that difficult. And I try to make a labyrinth. Yes, first I fixed my processing.
Good.
Yeah, and maybe I want to make an auto generated labyrinth, which can be used to, yeah, for boring time, we can use it to like a maze. But I try to make this thing on a cube, but it always when something wrong, and it always say that the surf this is MP. I made this,
All right.
and every time it runs, it will crash down. No
Mm,
pointer exception. And I thought that maybe this one is not a surface.
correct. That's one reason. That's I mean, cube is always polysurface or billet.
Oh,
So if you use the actually, first of all, if you use this as surface, that is 6 different surfaces. So if you want them to run around, you kind of need to need special coordination. What happens when it reaches the end of one surface? But
oh,
anyway,
maybe I have to make a one surface. not for two, not for six.
Yeah, if there's it's one surface going around four faces, that's possible to do with this one. But anyway, but at least one thing is that maybe at least just to test if we can import the surface. Let me just tell you that first. Go to Rhino first, and then can you explode these surfaces? Or I mean box explode. Yeah.
Yes.
Did he say like 6? So then you can save this as another file or same file.
And run this.
One more thing is you had to save as Rhino version 4, so you might need to specify the version of export. Though in Rhino 6, that might be a big problem. You can also save as OBJ file. Okay, first of all, can you try to save as Rhino version 4? I feel
Rhino 4. Okay.
Yeah, Rhino 4.
That's
So,
the target.
4, yes. Yeah, over, yes.
And try
Then
this.
open it. Yeah, then try that.
Wow. It's
But
working.
okay, that's one thing. I mean, first it didn't crash, but second you don't see the agent. That's another thing. Can you make another problem? Actually, but wait, another thing. How did you turn this labyrinth line agent into surface agent? Where actually, I think you copied one of the example and then combine together. Can you go up to the beginning of the code?
Yes.
One trick which I didn't really explain yesterday is not trick that the example I showed super quickly with the surface agent was conceptually it's not really running on surface. It's running somewhere hidden B is bit on XY plane from 0 to 1. So there's a tiny agent from within
Yes,
0
good,
to 1
good one.
space. Yeah. Then that is mapped to surface UV coordination, which is 0 to 1. Meaning everything's need or like one agent needs to be tiny. One agent needs to be like a 0.1 or
So I have to
0.01
check
something.
this.
No, that
How
has
big
nothing to
this
do with.
thing is.
Actually, no, it has nothing to do with actual size of surface. It's just an issue of UV internal coordinate of line. Then actually, issue is the size of agent. Size of agent needs to be tiny. So this one, this agent length is 1 because of the second input 100. That needs to be small. Can you make it like a 0.01?
This one?
Yeah, 0.01. Maybe 0.01, smaller.
0.01. Okay.
Yeah, that could be one issue. You can try to run. You don't see. Okay.
Maybe something wrong with my code. I not copy it. I type it.
Okay,
type it
but
for
yeah,
some places.
that was one thing, and then that was maybe there might be something else. But yeah.
Maybe sometimes with this color, and I don't know. If I type the color there,
Yeah, but
I need to
that should
type
not
it
be
there,
too.
and it will be wrong.
No, actually, no, color doesn't matter. I guess. So another thing, let me see. Can you go up to the top? Duration is one thing. Can you run again and then switch to wireframe mode with shortcut W?
Run it and what?
No, can you type key W on the simulation window? There might be some. No. Can you run the processing first?
Yeah, I know.
And then go to the animation of this, and then can you type key W? You don't see anything. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, there might be something else.
I would check it out. Something with wrong with my code. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, But anyway, I appreciate your attempt. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any other question?
Nope, I think no.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move to the next person. Next person is
How do I?
there should be top somewhere when you click. There should be a stop sharing button somewhere. Let me check if I received some email like about somebody was having some problem with computer, but by chapter one. Okay, I'm comparing the list to the participants on the Zoom. Okay, next, Yutin Lin, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Just a moment.
Sure.
I will run it. This is what I did. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see that.
So the result is like a snow flower. And I add the curve shape inside it.
Yeah, can you zoom in a little bit to see the curve?
Okay. Just a moment.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that looks good. Good. Do you have any other thing you want to show?
Only this one.
Okay.
Even though yeah. I read this code, but I still don't know why it runs like, for example, the point is began to expand while the boundary keeps like this.
Oh yeah. That's actually, so this you also see this type of fractal formation in the hierarchical agent, but yeah, this there's a certain logic which calls fractal geometry, and then the reason why it stopped there is that there's two agents try to come to exact same spot, then they collide each other, and then both stop.
I see.
That's why that straight one comes. The only corner is free or not colliding into other, then there is space ending. That's why it does. But the reason why like how there's a certain shape of a void between them, and you can see the line of kind of vacant space.
Yeah.
Those are really result of totally bottom-up project. I mean, usually fractal is generated by subdivision, like you divide and divide and divide. But this one is going up and up and up, or like accumulate more. So it's different logic, but it tends to or generate this kind of, and figuring out why is very difficult to think to do. So like so you kind of first of all you don't need to care. Second, if you are curious, you can get into it, but it's super difficult to think about. Most of the thing is about they happen to collide each other. So they are some agent in the exact spot at the exact time for other agent, and that relationship caused this formation. So it's very, first of mysterious, but the second very curious thing to think about. So that's interesting. So yeah, So, but anyway, yeah, it's great that you encounter this, and I like the curvature you made, and then yeah, if you are interested, you could look into more meaning. Like if you adjust the angle a little bit, it changes the formation a little bit, and then of course this regular pattern. I mean, it's not, it's kind of symmetrical and then hexagonally symmetrical, but that came from the turning angle of 60 degree or 120 degree. And if you use different type of angle, you're gonna create, I mean, different type of formation, like 45 degree gonna be different, and then but the irregular angle gonna be irregular, though there's a certain symmetry, well, not symmetry, but like a fractal logic comes out. Anyway, yeah, good work, and then yeah, that's a very interesting thing to see. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, next, let me check the Zoom participants. Okay, next, Subhasri Ghosh, are you there? You can show yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, so I uh, I try to do branching in the same pyramid intersecting code. Uh, I'll just run it for to show you the output. Can you see the output?
Not coming yet. Possibly you are sharing only processing coding window. You might need to share screen,
Oh,
the whole screen.
okay.
Maybe you can stop this sharing and you can start new sharing screen.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I see that now.
yeah, this is how it starts. The two pyramids, and it just goes on
Yeah.
branch from either sides. But the only issue I was facing that after a point of time it just gets a bit messy
Yeah.
because the child pyramids also start having branches, and uh, it just becomes messy. So I really couldn't control the branching. So I guess that's why it became so chaotic.
All right.
So that was the portion where I had an issue with.
Sure. Yeah, but yeah, it's great that I mean, you wanted to do branch pyramid and you did, and then you saw how it comes. So that, yeah, that's good. And then, but the issue of like having too many pyramid is actually a typical issue of branching because it creates too many things, and then like yeah, it's exponential, exponentially increase the number. So at that point, what you need to do is you need to limit the total number. And
Okay.
once, okay, several things you can do is the first, maybe keeping the number of branches small, meaning like probability like smaller. That's one thing. Or like you can you could branch just 1% or actually less than 1%, or like you branch every 100 time frame something. But in longer run, it still creates too many. And another thing you can do is you can stop parent pyramid some point. Like each pyramid has certain size. Like each like one set of pyramid creates up to like 100 level or 50 level or something, and it stops. So that's another logic. You kind of need actually for that purpose. It's easier for you to use the hierarchical agent I'm gonna talk today, but that's but also your pyramid start looking like a module of yours, or even square is module of yours, so it's kind of perfect thing to jump into the hierarchical module with a clock stack agent algorithm. But so like each pyramid like stops somewhere, right? So so if that happens, the parent doesn't grow further, and then only child keep going, and then also but for example limit total number of branch. For example, if one pyramid create one branch, then stops. The child is always one, and that child pyramid creates one branch, and then it's just grandchild pyramid is one. So pyramid creates one pyramid, another pyramid creates another pyramid, and you can control how many pyramids it creates over time. It is not control in one update method at one moment. It's a control of only generating one block in whole lifespan of one pyramid. That's another type of time control. So, but actually, so you can do this easier with the new algorithm I'm gonna show today. So, but anyway, so you can do that. So, but actually, yeah. So I think this is a kind of perfect design direction for you to use the new algorithm I'm gonna show today. So yeah, so like you can have a bit more precise control of when to create branch. Then you can control total number of pyramid. So yeah, I mean that's good. And then I don't know what is your obsession with the pyramid, but that sounds good kind of thing to keep. So yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you. Okay. Next person. Yuji Tang, are you there?
Yeah, let me share screen.
Yep.
Yeah, so I basically did something similar to what Yuting did, where it's branching at like 60 degrees, and then it becomes like the curves. And then I tried to, I didn't want it to kind of branch three-dimensionally, so I just kind of drew lines that increases at random points. And try to see how like these planes would interact three-dimensionally. So sometimes the lines will come out, and then because of the collision, the branching stops on that level. And then at some point, I find that the edge is a bit too like, I want the edge to feel a bit more fussy. So after I think 80 after 80 time, it will just branch in a like a smaller angle. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, especially that like you have what's that? You have more stuff to say.
Sorry.
Oh, you have more explanation.
Oh no, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering why the lines, when I draw it vertically, it will show, but when I draw it in your code, this line agent doesn't show when it's becoming the curve.
Not sure, possibly, or happen to have like a point one or like a first point and or 3 points are all same location, or actually I'm not sure in glance right now.
So
Yeah,
for example, like this curve, when I draw the curve
yeah.
from your code, the curve shows, but the line agent doesn't show.
No way. Line agent is basically empty always. Only the moment you create works. Actually, you create the line agent, right? And then that line agent's update method gonna be executed next time. At that point, that update is gonna create one of curve inside your if condition. So until then, they will not have any line inside it.
So you'll draw the curve first, and then you'll create a line agent.
Yes.
But the line agent doesn't draw a line, is it?
Doesn't draw a line. Line agent just name and it doesn't have line automatically. Only when you draw curve, that's the curve of the agent. So yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
All right then. Yeah, not sure where not sure about the reason why it didn't show certain part of line, but except the line agent. But yeah, your result looks great, and then yeah, especially that good nice thing to change the behavior in time and then change the type of geometry, and especially the part of control like where you go vertically. So is that randomly going up sometime?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that's good, and then I mean, technically great, and also the way of thinking, like you want, you don't want certain heterogeneous condition somewhere. That's great too. And then this is also kind of perfect thing to do in the hierarchical agent that we're gonna see today, because in a way, the first move of the hexagonal thing is look like a one type of agent or one type of module, and the vertical thing is another thing. And then the later shallower angle turning, more leafy thing is yet another thing. So so this time you kind of did the in a gradient way or gradual way inside the update method, but you can do more discretely or explicitly in the hierarchical geometry, although I'm hierarchical agent, but way of thinking is still same. That it actually it's the exact same kind of way of thinking, like how you want to do this, so you want to do another thing, but just the switch of doing another thing is more organized in the code we gonna see today. But anyway, thank you for the good work, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, then next, let me see the participant list. Okay. Alan Kim, can you show your assignment work? And actually, I have one person who sent me stuff beforehand.
Is my screen shared?
Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing the screen.
Yes. First, I want to start this intersect code with circle.
Yep.
And I divided this 65 points and start, and I make these tree-shaped patterns are a little swirling about clockwise direction. And I also give them a z-axis, so I want to this look like a ball. So, but like this. But some of these are pop up right away first. So I don't know why it is like this. So I have little difficulty in this problem.
Right. You're not sure about that some irregular part is coming, but anyway, yeah, making more or making certain kind of shape or trying to achieve that is yeah requires precise. Actually, it either requires precise control or just luck in terms of bringing certain randomness. So you could try. Okay, first of all, because your behavior is already set to form certain shape by the logic, so you just simply have too much gap or space not filled by agent. So so that means you just need to populate more or just maybe by adjusting the angle or just changing the probability of branching, and then maybe they can do. So meaning you are on the right track. So I think this is just a matter of you could change the random number seed in a different way with the I random dot init method, or as I showed yesterday, or changing the angle of turning slightly. I mean, maybe slightly wider angle might kind of bend more to fill the gap, and then but the edge of the whole thing might not be perfectly round. That's a bit difficult to do. Or to make it really round, you kind of need to the regularity from the beginning. Then you need a regular angle, and then you could do that. But still, that might not be a good way to go. Plus, that gonna kind of make a symmetric symmetry inside the patterns which you might not want. So maybe you can just accept you just expand everything bigger than you need and you just trim that data. That's something you can do. Also, another if you want to do that inside agent, it's also possible to set up the boundary, like for tree or branch agent to stop if it goes too far. In that way, you will have the perfect round thing if it filled everywhere. So that example exists in tutorial sites. There's something about the boundary. Although if you want the round shape, you just can measure the distance from center to the current position, and if it's too far or too large distance from the center, then you can tell agent to stop. So that's two things. So but anyway, here direction is good, and then one thing is that if we are assuming like you could 3D print or laser cut the ball shape out of this pattern, that's great. But the one issue, actually, there's one structure issue. Branch is known to be connected to root, or each line is connected to the starting point always, but always or almost never connected to sibling, meaning each branch is independent structurally. I mean, in a strict sense. So this structure is super weak. Each leaf end is a super weak because there's only one continuous line to the bottom. But if you actually produce something 3D print something, you can just let them overlap with by thickening the line or offsetting or something. In that way, you see this is really filled to the pattern. So of course, if you overlap them together, that's no problem structurally. So but if you actually be like, if you precisely control this line and precisely put the pipe on it and 3D print, and then each branch never intersect each other, it's gonna be structured super weak. So yeah, just be careful. So that's another thing. And then, but you can another thing, at that point you can actually in advanced technique, if you know that is the problem, you can change the interact method not to stop when it collide, but to touch another one when they collide. So in that case, you can always, so right now there's a gap always when the collision happens. But if you change the logic to not to just stop, but just intentionally create like partial line from your agent to the colliding agent, then that's always connected to the colliding one, then that gonna refine the structure integrity. So, but that's in case when you want to do more technical coding in a way to solve in the engineering way. But anyway, yeah, good idea to think about like this ball shape, etc. So yeah, I appreciate that. Do you have any other question?
Oh, thank you. I will try that.
Yep. All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay. Next person is okay. Next, I received assignment from Albert Cheng because he tech, sharing display issue. So let me share my screen and then show his work, and then you can describe your work. Share screen. Then second, let me run his assignment code. I think he has 2 assignment code, and the first, oh, first this. Okay, first window still coming. It takes time due to streaming, but it's it. Okay, it's here. Okay, so that's branching. Okay, I think I should run another one first. Anyway, so that I think that's branching in a very specific direction and then very geometric, meaning some of them straight, although others are really kind of polyline like shape. So there's a certain variation and then kind of wavy pattern. But first, let me if we write some comment. Okay, chat window. Okay, so he writes a lot and let me that. Okay, branching vector one action. So another one was the reiteration yesterday, but let me keep talking second one because I already started running. Second is, well, actually, I'm not sure where to read, so let me go back, go to the first one. So first one, which might take a while to start, but so first one attempts to emulate L systems, and what is that second one? Yeah, first code is still trying to start. I might just read some of them, or I mean, you can read the chat on the window, but and you have new message. Okay, some part was talking about, some part on the chat message was talking about second code, but anyway, first code should be coming here. Okay, that's Part1. So we more revised version of the yesterday's cylindrical thing, though, however, I think you added child agent. So there's a one agent and the probability of every 25 time frame you have another one. So yeah, it's a branch and let me do this. The rotating vector. That's good. Looks good. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Looks good, but also I like the second one. So let me go back to the second one. So this one and then kind of not really reading your description, but anyway, so branching and then a single point to grow all the trees and then try to do L system and then try to have control or try to reduce chaotic growth by replacing random with more orderly function, which is a good idea. Then branch extend like a 90-degree or 45-degree only, although it goes all three-dimensional somehow. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that way of thinking, like try to give some order in by removing random is a pretty good idea. But the usually difficulty is when you try not to use random, making or generating certain type of complexity can be problem. If it's too regular, it becomes too boring regular. So interesting and relational and complex, or actually no, relational and complex, but is a kind of a bit difficult, usually difficult thing to achieve. Although that is a type of aesthetics or quality aesthetic we are kind of pursuing, or I personally pursue. So yeah, that's a good technique. Well, first good attempt, and second you made it happen, so that's great. And then yeah, so so everything is tilted, like it's all diagonal going up and down. So but anyway, yeah, it's good work, especially yeah, you managed to bring complexity out of rationality. Of course, there's a certain tweaks to make that happen, but at least, for example, especially this straight line in one direction that goes everywhere in a way, that's nice to show, or that's great to keep that happening, and then that's not easy thing to control. Or if it happen to happen, that's great, but if you manage, that's amazing. And also not sure about this something coming out, and then that's interesting as well. It's if natural result of some logic internally, and if it has something to do with the collision condition, that's interesting too. So yeah, it's great. It's good. So, okay, yeah, thank you very much about this assignment. Then let me move to, actually, so that's, I reached the end of the list of the participants. If I miss anybody, and if you have a work you want to show, please speak up now. Then otherwise I move on to the tutorial of the day. So then let me prepare the tutorial of today, which is all about the hierarchical agent, more specifically clock stack agent algorithm I mentioned yesterday. So So today, this page is the page we're gonna go through today. And then so this just to be clear, this tutorial exists in Azure.jp tutorial page, and then the third one, multi-agent algorithm section. Then the bottom, clock stack agent algorithm. So so this shows, I mean, I didn't add much description there, but so there's a example code or template code, and then actually I'm updating the code a little bit and maybe for tomorrow, but today we're gonna use this. And then the way it works on this tutorial is that, so instead of you trying to figure out all the interaction issue and how to set up the internal body clock, etc., I just give you the template code. And then, okay, for example, let me just copy and paste this code to show what it is. And then, okay, it's empty processing. I mean, it's not short code, so but you can select just whole code by this select button, and then I copy the, I mean, you can also download the PDF file if that PHP code is not broken. So this one is the code copied from the tutorial web. And then, so this is the kind of long code. And then, so if this contains several classes, and then one, I mean, major thing is this clock stack agent. That's the main agent doing the hierarchy behavior. But there's another kind of support class which is used inside the agent. There's an orientation class. Also, actually, that's only another one. So that's just one. So the clock agent is here. And then, so this already take care of the set up of body clock, and then interact to check the collision detection, and then how to draw line, and then how to move around, etc. So, but the part you actually write, I mean, if you want, you can write the other part. But if the main thing we're gonna focus on is here called rule. So far, our multi-agent algorithm was focusing on writing some behavior inside update method. But because this hierarchy agent has some more behavior to take care of, I have update, but this already does many, not just several things. Actually, it already checks the collision stuff, and then deleting things, it's already done. And but actually, drawing line is just here. And then creating child is a bit tricky, so I already take care of. But the part of the update is rule. Rule is the part where you describe the hierarchy behavior using body clock. Then, so here is the rule part. And then there are several methods you can use. So this is a very specific method or kind of process I personally set up. So it's not universal thing, but I have one like a method called next. Next is kind of equivalent to making new child. Next child is defined by this next method. And then usually next method comes with some transformation method, which is also internally defined above here. Then, but most important thing or most unique thing in this algorithm is every time you create new child, you need to specify what body clock to pick. So you can specify like this agent is like your child agent is gonna be the kind of next agent in which level of time clock or which level of hierarchy. So 0 means the bottom clock, and 1 means the second clock, So it's a kind of stack. So it's stack up from the bottom to upwards to infinity, whichever number you want. So then so that's one thing. Another thing, another method you might use in the description rule is the clock method. This tells you that what like number is inside the clock. But clock is a hierarchy. So there's a bottom clock and then the second level clock and then third level clock and etc. And the clock 0 means the bottom clock. And then so this describes if the bottom clock is at 7, if it's given the second, if it's a second or like a 7 second in the first clock, I mean not really second, but as a analogy. So so it doesn't really matter if it's it doesn't matter what number in the second clock or third clock is, but in whatever state, if any hour, any minute, you just care every second, like a second, if 7 seconds happen, then you do this part. So, but anyway, so first let me demonstrate how this gonna look, and then so I'm gonna explain more about this specific code. So what this does is, I mean, the first there is function, but that is kind of occasional thing. So most of the time, what it's doing is it creates next agent with a rotation of pi divided by 12, which is 15 degree, and then it increase the body clock number at the bottom clock. So that's the main behavior. It's kind of rotation behavior, but every 7th time clock, it takes the second level clock and then rotate minus 90 degree. So then this is not else if or if and else, meaning this always happen. Even when this 90 degree happen, this the 15 degree time is still happening. Then it's already here. Actually, I missed the movement. Maybe I should run this again. But anyway, you see the circle of circle. Then that is because the first move of 15 degree turn was the smaller circle. But sometimes, especially the 7th step, it creates second child. So at this 7th time, this and this happen at the same time. So the original small circle continues, but it creates new circle with 90 degree turn. But this 90 degree turn is just once at the moment. After that, it stays. After that, it goes back to. You see the animation or kind of going. The circle is extended from another circle, etc. So that's the part. 90 degree part is this part. Not sure if the mouse cursor is on the display, but anyway. So I can zoom in more. That part is 90 degree. Then, but after 90 degree, the behavior goes back to regular one because this says this increments the second body clock. The one important thing to remember is that when you increase number of body clock in a certain level, all other clock below that is reset to 0. So yeah, same logic with the second and the hour and etc. So when actually it's not the same, but hours increment, all the minute and the second becomes 0. So when I set the upper level clock, level 1 clock is incremented, then the level 0 clock will become 0. And that kind of restarts the original behavior of 15 degree turn. So that's why kind of it goes. I mean, it restarts same thing, and then again here same thing happened, and it kind of restarts here, and then but like the body clock level 1 is keep increasing, like so this sequence of cycle, the first one was so the body clock 0 goes to like a 0 1 2 3 4 7 here, and they go keep going, and then maybe for 15 or 16 away, 24 something, it stops here by colliding itself, but this time here body clock 1 become 1 because it's increased body clock 1, and the body clock 0 becomes 0. This starts here, then the body clock 0 goes to maybe 20 or something, and then but next one goes here. But at this point, body clock level 1, so I want to just say clock 1. Clock 1, original bottom one is clock 0, and the second one is clock 1. Clock 1 is value 1 here all the time, but the next cycle has a clock 1 value 2. So next value of clock 1 is 2. Next value of clock 1 is 3, and the next clock 1 is 4, and then 5, and 6. So they know how many or which module they belong to. I mean, they don't need to, but they do. So, well, you can use that if you want. So, but anyway, that's how it's doing the hierarchical thing. So that this one only have 2 levels. So first level is small circle, and second level is like a circle. I mean, it kind of treat one circle as one step module. Although, I mean, not really. Only like each of them know this is like second circle, and then they know that's third circle, that's fourth circle. So that's how this code is organized. But anyway, again, only this part is the part you wanna write in the code. Other part you can leave. And but tomorrow I'm gonna update this code a little bit for you to draw more than just line, but plus yeah, some other feature. So, but today we wanna focus on this. Then before going into writing more, I want to just remind you the video example of this by some video which I kind of show in the presentation, but I didn't show fully. And then I want to show also in my YouTube channel. I have that video exist. That is a clock stack module algorithm example. So, and I kind of can run fast. So I'm showing a bunch of example, and then I think most of them might be on the tutorial side, but so each of them is having that kind of level of clock control, and then so like a 90-degree turn is happen to clock 0, but the clock 1 use a different turn, most of it like 90 degree or something, and then sometimes like a different type of, different type of turn, or like you prepare totally different type of module, like module using like clock 3 is one module, but clock 4 is totally different module, and then the inside underneath you define differently something. So this one has a 3 different geometry type, which correspond to 3 different behavior, but in one rule method. So that's a kind of things you can do today. Then I think I can also show you the example I showed also in the after the lecture or in the lecture. Example code making the Greek column, and I captured that in animation. I can show you that, which is more about what we're gonna do like after tomorrow. But so I showed the processing execution of that, but it was too heavy, so it wasn't running smooth. So I captured video and I tweaked the parameter. So, but today we can just focus on the basics of this clock agent. But this one is just like after that we want to start thinking about like a reference to some existing geometry and how we're gonna tweak. So that was the Greek column a bit moved biologically in a way, and this is like a bit kind of logic thing happened to branch out. So, but anyway, so that's kind of towards the final project we're gonna do later, but using this algorithm. So then going back to the code. So before going to code, let me just explain or remind you the schedule. So on the assignment. So today we work on this stack agent, and then we go through all the example on this page. Well, I just gonna explain what they are doing and then meaning, not the meaning, but like meaning of that and why the angle extra or how to design those kind of things. And then the assignment is gonna be for you to develop your version of that, or you play with that and try to come up with something interesting in terms of all the formation or geometry or something you want to design. So in abstract way. So that's the assignment. But there's another assignment I want to ask you to do, which is to think about what kind of reference you want to bring in. So in case, so in the existing world or history or whatever existing artifacts, machine, etc., you kind of there might be something you are interested to analyze and then rebuild in this algorithm, and then you destroy the algorithm later to generate something totally unexpected. So I'm gonna ask you to start looking into geometry in the world. Could be in nature, could be in architecture history. So I picked the Greek Ionic column and just like kind of simple example. But I'm gonna ask you to just pick something or research something you not really research, but just pick something you might be interested to pursue. So that's an example. Just picking, so that's not that difficult. One more thing. Although I'm gonna ask you to pick a reference image or inspiration image, and I'm gonna ask you to analyze how it's doing. Well, actually, analysis part is another thing. If you can analyze the image you find, like picking up where is the module and then what might be the logic. Actually, logic part is a bit tricky, so you don't need to think too much about like a hierarchy relationship. And then this part seems to be module, but this part seems to have sub module. So most of the time, actually, so the type of image I want you to pick up is something which has hierarchical relationship. If your image has no hierarchy, that's actually not recommended. I don't want you to pick, right? Like if you pick all same kind of white noise or just dispersed sand particle, that's not something I want you to pick. Although, even though if it's all the sand stuff, if it's desert, the desert has a mountain somehow, and the mountain, if you see from far, you might have some sequence of mountain or mound of sand in desert might have certain formation, repetitive formation. That level you have hierarchy. So that kind of hierarchy or hierarchy I want you to find. Then we are trying to go back and forth between nature and the artifacts world. So if you don't limit yourself into one way, or if you just go into free nature, you can do if you're interested. But anyway, I want you to find a hierarchy in geometry, a hierarchy of geometry in existing world, either in human world or in nature. So that's the assignment. I'm gonna talk about that later again at the end of the workshop today as well. Oh yeah, then one more thing to pay attention, that which is when you think about something you want to produce or in computational design, especially for computational design learner, if you are still kind of learning stuff and in the beginner in coding, etc., usually having some idea what you want to make is problem, because your technique or level of control might not allow you to exactly make what you want to make. And really sticking to what you want to make and really trying to figure out usually really stress you out. So then that's also limits you what to produce, because you are producing what you can imagine. And then the one point of computational design or one point of bottom-up algorithm or agent-based approach is that some to generate something you don't know or you cannot envision beforehand. So usually in the case of phase, you are still studying, best way to produce something interesting is just try many things and expect or anticipate certain accidents to happen. And most of the time accidents happen or bug or explode something, but explosion usually interesting. So we are kind of going two direction right now or tomorrow. You bring some idea you want to go, but at the same time, I also ask you to not to stick to that too much. So that's, I mean, I'm gonna remind you again tomorrow, but that's the thing, or that's the kind of attitude you should take. You can keep it the direction you want to go, but you should embrace any accent you have, and then not to be discouraged to go far from what of your initial intention. So that's what I'm gonna encourage you to do. And then, but this is kind of a typical like a thing for architects to do, like, because like if you first think about making some certain type of insect body, but somehow you made end up making or suddenly start making something looking like a spaceship, and then later you reclaim no, you were going to make a spaceship from the beginning. That's something you or architects can do, so you can do that too. So anyway, going back to the algorithm. Then, so I show the first example, and then next one. Actually, it goes simpler. Okay, I'm gonna show you simplest form of this rule. And so I'm gonna keep changing something, and then if I make something which is not on the web page, I'm gonna save and then send you the code later over email. Um, so I think I need to explain more about this next method and the clock method. So, and then all the transformation method. So first, simplest form of this rule is, I mean, simplest of the simplest is just no rule, but it just creates nothing. So simple step is just next 0. And this means there's no transformation happening. So there's a two different next method. One is no transformation, but just number. That number specifies the body clock. Next one is a transformation method and number, body clock number, body clock level. So next 0 means this increase the clock 0 value, but there's no transformation, meaning it keeps the same direction with the parent agent. So let me run that. This each time it takes time to but anyway. So okay. It goes just straight because it's keeping the same direction. So it doesn't really matter if we, in this case, body clock is increasing in the level 0 or level 1 or level 2, but basically 0. So then next step is to think about transformation. So you can put something like a rotation, or I mean, I need to give some number, but rotation. Actually, so transformation is kind of limited to here, but which is kind of enough. But the rotation is something we saw yesterday. You can have just a XY plane rotation, or you can also three-dimensional rotation with a specific axis. And then actually there's extra rotation I can talk about later. So that's a bit advanced rotation. But the multiplication, like making smaller or bigger, you have that. Division is like the same thing, just the inverted way. The reflection we saw, but this is like kind of same with rotating 180 degree in a basic way. Well, actually flip is also same. Actually, no, reflection is, actually this is minor operation. Just a reflection on plane, which is kind of, the use is limited, so you don't need to care too much. If you want, you can, but flip is 180 degree, etc. But flip normal, flip side, that's another thing, because yesterday the basic agent had a point, I mean position and the direction, that's two information. But this agent has not just point and direction, but this also has a normal direction and the side direction, meaning this is the information this agent has is equivalent to having coordinate system on each. So I mean, if you know parametric system, that's the term. So plane and the origin, and then yeah, basically that. So origin X and Y and Z. So this agent has that. So that's why it can do the rotation, rolling, and the pitching. But anyway, basically operation is rotation and the multiplication. That's the two basic things to do. So going back to the example of simple rule. So rotating something is the stuff we were doing yesterday, but so in the same way, actually rotating 90 degree might be too much. So 100 pi divided by 100. So this gonna, you can imagine this gonna be just rotating circle, and then that is. So that's the kind of simple thing you can do. So that, and then maybe I gonna add. So another thing is that you can cascade the method, or just you can put method after method for the transformation. And so if you, I mean, that's what we were doing yesterday as well, I guess. So you can rotate and multiply. So that. Then you can imagine, actually I want to make it a bit bigger, 1.00, actually 1.0. So this gonna make a spiral. So, and yeah, I got a question from Albert. What does the double angle in the retention method mean? The double angle means double angle means so the method, I didn't really talk about the basic grammar but of Java language, but first of all, this means this takes one input, and when this rotation has another input, and then this input, first of all, one input with the name of angle, but specifically the type double. Double means a floating point value in double precision. That's why it's called value. There is a single one which is called float, but you don't really need to care that level. But anyway, important thing to remember is you are supposed to put some number. When it says double something, you are supposed to put number. If it says int, you are supposed to put integer. But double floating point number, positive, negative, like 0.01 or 100.3, or you can put 100 as well, integer as well, but that. So rotation takes a single number, or another rotation takes the axis, vector, and number. This 3D rotation takes one number, multiplication and division take one number, reflection take just vector, etc., etc. Then this takes no input. That's all. Good. So, okay. okay, what I want to do was I want to show spiral. But anyway, so this level is same with the agent we were doing yesterday. And but the thing we can do next is using the body clock. Then, because the idea of body clock comes from the hierarchy, meaning there is a bottom hierarchy and then the upper hierarchy and then upper worker, first level hierarchy, second level hierarchy, third level hierarchy. And then so that implies the idea bottom one happens the most and then upper one happens less. I mean, it doesn't need to be, but kind of natural way of thinking. So I have something in the body clock 0 because I was increasing the putting this number 0. I want to do something about the body clock 1, but that might happen only in the limited time. And the limited time is something I want to describe with clock. So this is now similar to the ig.time yesterday, kind of. It's kind of time-based control, but not global time-based control, not agent one-dimensional body clock control. It's a hierarchical body clock control. But if I just use 0, that's kind of one level. But so it's equivalent to the time equals 10 or something. So but this means when the body clock 0 equals 10, meaning it went through 10 times already, I want to do something else. So that something else could be branching, but something else could be just changing the direction. First, let me do that. Okay, the direction. Well, no, actually, I'm gonna do branch first. So I want to do something, maybe just simply similar to the first example. I just rotate 90 degrees. I'm not sure if that's the right direction to go, but then I increase the body clock 1 value. So at the body clock 0, clock 0 equals 10, I do this 90-degree turn. And the result gonna look like, it should be fine. So that, okay, that was wrong direction turn. It went in that way. Okay. Actually, what I wanted to do was not to collide into each other, so I wanted to go out. It was going in, and so okay. The one thing I want to do, I want to keep the top view always. So okay, that's something else. It's kind of cute each other as well. Anyway, so you see a new thing came out. I don't know which one is first. I think first one was here. First spiral went out, and the second spiral went out of this, and then third one keep going, etc. So that's what happened. So that's the second level, and that's that way. The first spiral here, the second spiral there, and the third spiral there, fourth spiral there, fifth spiral there, sixth spiral colliding into the first one, and the seventh spiral also colliding to second first one, and they stopped. So and each of them, so these spirals don't make branch anymore because this guy whose time clock 0 is already like 100 or 200. This one never go back to 10 unless you tell them to do. So that's why it doesn't use. But so like 5 or 6 of them keep going, the initial 5 or 6. And then the sequence of first spiral module, second spiral module, third spiral module, sixth spiral module died by collision into the storm. So, but anyway, that's one thing. So another thing I want to show is that this is the case branching out. Branching is always mean making or to make multiple child agent. So next method creates child agent. Then so that you need to be aware of the difference between the if condition and this next method after that versus if condition and else and this next condition method inside it. So this one is this if you have if and else, only one of them executed always. There's never the case that both of them executed. Meaning, I mean, the case of both of child agent created is the case of branching. So if you put next method inside if and else, this never make branch. It just simply change the behavior. That's all. Versus original one, this one. This one is when this if clause is executed, the second one is also executed. So once in 10, both of them executed. Then that's a branch case. So but you just need to be like you just need to understand that part. So okay, so next one I want to do is just an example is like if and else. So this case this doesn't make branch. It just change the behavior. So let me see what that means. Yeah, just waiting. So okay, okay, that's something you might have seen yesterday, but so you can see like every 10 step it turns slightly like a gradual angle, but every 10 it has a 90 degree. So in this case, the way you see or kind of way of understanding is this small arc is one module, and then so it's module made out of that small arc, and it just so that's making more kind of polygonal shape, which is having 90-degree turn. So that's what happens. So you see there's no branching because I have if and else, and that's what happened. But anyway, so that's a different type of control. So you don't, when you think about module, when you think of hierarchy in this agent behavior, you don't need to make separate module always. You can just have defined behavior, but some chunk of agent look like module and the other seems to be something. In the same maybe logic. First of all, I should save this one for me to send you the code later. And today's folder. And clock agent one. Okay, so actually one more thing I want to do is I just want to change the view. I just want to see the top view, so I'm gonna put id.top to keep the only top view and save. So next one, I might want to use the second level of body clock, meaning like I use the body clock 0 and if I use the body clock 1, I might want to use body clock 2. And I was checking body clock 0, but here I'm changing the number in body clock 1. So I can now use another thing. If I can use clock 1 because it's changing by here. So I mean, you can imagine it. So this is the count of the small arc. Like first small arc was the 0 in clock 1, and the second small arc was 2 in clock 2. I mean, it starts from 0, but anyway. So I want to say maybe at fourth arc, I'm gonna do something else. I don't know what I want to do. Maybe just a different turn. I also don't want them to collide into something or somewhere. Or I decide to go straight. Meaning, so instead of going to 90-degree turn, I want to keep it straight, although not sure colliding somewhere. Straight and scaling down because it was going up. Going now will be too small. And I want to increment, increase body clock too. Then I want to do in L3. I don't want them to branch out. I can put everything else, but maybe first let me do this. Although this is which is equivalent to the use of LC, but anyway, so this is an example of second level body clock. I mean, clock number 2, which is the third level from bottom. So you see that arc thing, and then something should happen sometime, although it's not happening, meaning I did something wrong. Okay, body clock 4 is 1, 1 is 4, 4. Oh, by the way, this algorithm, and when you're writing this thing, it's like really puzzle, logical puzzle, and not easy. So just be careful. And if you like puzzle, you would love it. If you hate puzzle, this will be painful. But anyway, good luck on that. So 0 and then 10 out and 1 go 4. If clock 1 is equal 0, it goes in, and this increase 1. And then the 1 goes there. I should not think this too much, and I should stick to existing example. But anyway, so okay, I'm gonna figure that later. So let me stop here and go back to the tutorial page. Yeah. So okay, so this also has that body clock level 2 or 1 or those. So what if I put 0? But anyway, so here is the example, one of the example on the video or in the presentation yesterday. This one has 1, 2, 3 behavior. This has nothing. So let me open new file first. And actually, no, I cannot do that. I need to copy and paste only part of the code. So let me copy this part. And then let me paste into this rule. Only here to here. So this one, in the on the image, it shows it creates squares. But what it is doing, or why it can be that way, is so there's a first two if close, and then you can see it's square. So just to simplify, first state was I think first state was not having this. First was just a body clock 0 checking the 9, and then otherwise just going straight. So then if it's 9, you turn 90 degree. So you create square, and then so that's stopped because of the collision detection. So it's stop 1 before. that then, but on top of it, when this happens, I mean, sometime you check clock 1 at the moment of 9. But moment of 9 means it's a moment it's turning 90 degree. When it's turning 90 degree, it duplicate, actually it branch out. So this one is having no transformation, meaning it's going straight, but it's changing the body clock level 2. So then this creates the branch at the moment they turn 90 degree. Then, so as a result, so this part, like a bottom part, is the moment it's branching out. So this moment is here. But this is not just creating 90 degree, it's not just making branch at 90 degree turn, it's specifically turning at the moment of clock equal clock 1 is value 0. So that is clock 1 is the second level. So clock 1 is checking like a module number, meaning line segment, one line, which is made out of 9 agents. One line is counted as clock 1, meaning first line is a clock 1 value 1, and the second line is clock 1 value 2, and this actually no 0, first one 0, and then this vertical line is equivalent to clock 1 value 1, and then top line is clock value 2, and then third, this is the third one, clock value 3. So then I said when module is 0, then when it's the moment to turn, then duplicate other branch. So if I change this number, it would change in a different, it changed the location to branch. So if I change it to 1, that means it's a second line in the square. Then actually 90 degree happens at the end of that line. So now it branches here, and then for the second agent, second cube square agent, the second line module is here, the end is here. So I'm at the top, middle, so it goes on that way, and it kind of goes back and then collide into itself and so on. So this part is controlling the moment of branching, and then so there's option to do that. Then if you don't do this, if you don't have control when to branch out by clock 1, what's gonna happen is it's gonna branch at every time when it turn the corner 90 degree. So that could be a bit chaotic, but anyway, so you see it goes everywhere in a way. So it kind of creates whole Postman grid. But anyway, so that's the control. I mean, this is kind of uncontrolled version, but if you have the if condition, that's controlled version. So yeah, so if it's 0, that's you might wonder what happens too, and so in that case, it branch out when it go on the left side of the square. But one thing you kind of need to be careful in this logic or module is that they tends to collide itself and stop. So in this case, it went the other way or left direction. But when try to create the next one, actually this wanted to, or second square wanted to create another square on the right, but the old agent already exists, so it collided into it and it stops. And then, anyway, I mean, there is a way to ignore collision, although I don't show that today, but tomorrow I will show. So Just or just if you are curious, or I just have some idea which is not really in the doesn't fit the sequence of the course in the tutorial. But if I don't want to collide and explore more this going back and forth relationship, maybe I could make it 3D and then they don't collide. If I want to make it a bit up and in that it might go zigzag. To do that, maybe I can start with something the direction, although actually I cannot do that because that is they are in like its coordinate system, so they stay in the same coordinate. But anyway, for example, let me do that. I'm with the direction slightly up, and which I kind of know it doesn't work because it can rotate exactly on the local coordinate system, which doesn't rotate in a kind of twisted way. And so I kind of need to change this rotation. It's still dead, but it went back because this rotation here, 90-degree rotation, is not XY plane rotation. This is a locally defined coordinate system base plane rotation, which is that already did it. But if I say specifically XY coordinate, no, XY plane rotation, which is different from the local coordinate system of this agent, which I defined in the very beginning, is direction 10, 0, 1. So this might do something else. So this case, I forcefully rotate the agent 90 degree in XY plane. I mean, the agent is moving or staying in the slightly tilted coordinate system, but I forcefully rotate 90 degree. As a result, it kind of creates this kind of zigzag condition and the rotating spiral thing. But anyway, so yeah, I was just curious what's gonna happen with this. So in case you want to go back and forth, that's not way to do. But anyway, that's just examples. Or that's this is actually the not slightly more advanced way of thinking, like I think knowing what coordinate system doing and then 3-dimensional move. Also, that level that's the level when I start talking about these 3 things. Actually, you can do similar thing with what I did using these 3 advanced rotation, which I want to talk later, maybe in the afternoon. So, but let me then go back to the this example. So first, let me save this one because then let me move on to next example. So, but anyway, for the rest of like next 10 minutes, I'm gonna just keep going, and then for in the afternoon after 1 hour break, I just continue doing. Plus, maybe I want to talk about a little more other methods and how to use and what I mean. Then rules 2. So this one has one more level. Yeah, actually, I have to change the beginning setting, the initial setting. So I have to stay on XY plane for the example. So this one, I copy and paste too much. So this one has now actually it's getting more complicated, but the bottom behavior is usually described as a clock 0 behavior. So that's the straight line part. And the second level would be something with checking the clock 0. So that's something happened every 9 steps in the clock 0. But something happened every clock 1, 0, and then something happened clock 2, 3. But anyway, first let me run this first and then explain what that is. Although I want to just point out the difference. after I click this, I want to point out the difference. So clock to comparison didn't happen before. So the previous one was something like this. But I have another level which is doing square of square, or actually line creates segment, and then the segment of line creates square, but the square creates sequence of square, but the sequence of square creates another bigger square. So, but the key part is this turn. Another 90-degree turn going the other way. So it's, I think this is negative 90-degree turn. So I think this is kind of similar to the previous one, just going straight part and then 90-degree rotation part to make one square. But this is a branch part to create sequence of linear sequence of square. But another one is this. Sometimes you rotate minus 90 degree in the level 3. So that is this part. This corner is rotated minus 90 degree. So I mean, just to make sure this is the location, if I change some angle, and that should reflect my understanding. If that is a point 19 or going minus 90 degree, this should go minus 60 degree, like that. So that was a point. So, but anyway, you can see this is a part you are controlling the sequence of square bending or turning. So, but the key is again, so this part is kind of specifically set as a number, like clock 1 needs to be 0 or 1 or 2, as we saw in the previous one. And then clock 2 needs to be 3, which so this is a part you kind of can really think about what that is by just drawing diagram, or you just put the random number and see what happens. And if it's interesting, you keep going. Either is fine. Or in this phase, it's better to just do random thing. And then once something you like happen, you try to understand. So this 3, but let me explain what this 3 means. Then let me go back to, or I can just open the image. So instead of running the processing, so that's the result of the processing. So the number 3 here, and originally was minus 90 degree term. Number 3 means that like a number of module of this bigger level square, or actually the one square. So a sequence of square was counted. So first level was counting number of segment inside one edge, and the second level, clock 0 was a count of the line inside one edge. Clock 1 was count of edges, and the clock 2 is a count of square, and we are checking clock 2. Then clock 3 equals 3 means, I mean, the count starts from 0. So 3 means 0, 1, 2, 3. So fourth square is the meaning of this clock 2 equals 3. And the fourth square, and then, but this is also inside the clock 1, 0. Clock 1, 0 means the first edge inside the clock. So this is first edge. And then this is also the clock 0, 9, meaning the end of the edges. So end of the edges of first edges in the fourth square is the moment you want to turn minus 90 degree. This is not something you plan beforehand. You just try and then think that later. So, but anyway, so that's how this works. Then maybe I can explain one more, and then we can go into break. Next one is I mean, one more kind of module thing, and which is clock 3, actually clock 4 is introduced. I need to replace whole. So this one, let me run first. So this one, square of square, is also duplicated. I mean, branching out this way. Um, yeah. So the point is, I mean, previous point was this corner going 90 degrees, but now the new point was this corner. So this is another behavior added in a higher level using clock 3. So there's a part clock 3 is checked here. And then, so clock 9 and 0, clock 0 and 1 and 3, 2. Actually, this part is same with previous behavior. But new thing is here, I think. This, which describes this turn. And then the tricky part is previously the extra turn was always happening the end of edges. So when end of edge, first edge, it goes both regular level 0 turning, and then next step is just straight branching, and then sometimes that straight branching is not going straight but going left. And then this could have created another branch this way, but this is a bit different behavior because this one doesn't have the next level behavior. This just keep going. But next level behavior is happening inside the second sequence of square, the first square, and then third edge and the end. So that three thing I mentioned has to be described in the code, like the second sequence of square, and then first square, and then third edge end. So that's this part. So level, so second sequence of squares means body clock 3 equal 1, because the first was 0 and the second is 1. So that's described. This is in the second sequence of square, and then the first square out of the second sequence means the body clock 2 equals 0. And then the third line, third edge inside square means the body clock 1 equal 2. And the endpoint of edge means the body clock 0 equal 9, but it's already inside this if clause or if condition, so it's there. But anyway, so this duplicates, or this branch out new sequence of square of sequence of square. So that's how it's added. So but anyway, again, as I mentioned before, this is super tricky in terms of like a puzzle-like way of thinking. And then, so when you think about this, like you draw this on diagram and you analyze which is hierarchy, which is what, and then try to come up with this code. If you are very good at puzzle, you could do, or if you're a genius, you could do. But if not, if you're a regular person, you can just start from simple one, or just straight one and the turning, but keep adding something in like in this sequence. So actually that's how I came up with this. So you keep adding something from the beginning and extra, and then build up, and then from your code you have now. So that's a base approach you should take. And also, if we yeah, so that's actually much easier to do. You just try and see what happens. And then, but anyway, that's our base approach. So this concludes the morning session of this workshop, and then I gonna continue the rest of example and the transformation stuff in the after 1 hour break we have from now. So I'm gonna see you all at 2 p.m. my time, basically just 1 hour from now, and then I'm gonna see you then. Thank you.